Oh, good people, great people, God's people. Welcome to another episode of Odie's Office, and with me I have Miss Alvini. I've known Miss Alvini for a little while. We went to undergrad together. We were in student orientation services. We did some very cool things with some very cool people, and
Yeah.
she's decided to grace me with her presence in Odie's office. Now, before we started recording, we were having a conversation about the best way I can describe it is intersectionalities in dating, right? So a lot of people have conversations about their preferences, what it is that they like, what it is that they don't like, how it is that they would like to proceed in relationships, what it is that what it is that they look for in a partner. And myself and Ms. Albany were having a conversation, and I think Ms. Albany is more equipped to describe is um, what is occurring in this space. So, Ms. Albany, you can go ahead and first and foremost,
Okay.
introduce yourself, though.
Okay. Well, my name is Alvini. Um, Down here in sunny South Florida. I've known Will a long time, and I just thought, it was nice to show up. I love to support people, so especially Black people. Um, but yeah. So I am down, like I said, in sunny South Florida, and I have been finding it very, very hard to date. And I think that I've been finding it hard to date because I feel like I am a pretty girl. And I think that the fact of me being a pretty girl hurts me in the dating pool. I feel like people don't genuinely want to know me for me, and it comes off to be like everything's so physical, everything's like, oh, I love how your body looks, I love how you look, like everything is always complimented towards my physical. And I just feel like I have so much more to offer, and I feel like I feel bad that is just like that. But then at the same time, I feel like I fuck myself up in a way because I know what I like and I know what likes me. And I know that I like hood niggas and hood niggas love me. And so I feel like that's always like, it's a disconnect. And they never ever give me the commitment that I'm looking for, or just that longevity and the honesty that I'm looking for. I just want you to be genuine. And it's just like, I never get it. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, before we started recording, once again, we were having this conversation about what these things look like, how these things overlap. And I was saying that, we're looking at probabilities, right? Because if we're talking about hood niggas who have the propensity to be emotionally available and emotionally intelligent, I'm not saying that hood niggas don't have this capability at all. I've met a multitude of extremely emotionally intelligent hood niggas. It's the probability of hood niggas having that emotional intelligence that you're looking for. You feel what I'm saying? And recognizing that that's the reality, it's like, you know, there are some things that you probably are going to have to start looking at or reconstructing. You dig what I'm saying? Especially given the fact that, you know, the outcome that you're looking for is more so related to a particular level of, once again, emotional intelligence or the emotional intelligence quotient, that the probability of you finding the hood niggas is like slim to none. You dig what I'm saying? Not, once again,
But
not, go ahead.
I'm faithful in the slim. I'm faithful in the slim. That's
Mhm.
what the problem is. I be having faith of a mustard seed in the slim chances that it could be somebody out there.
Mhm.
Because I truly believe, like, a lot of times I'm an exception to the rule. And I know that's hard pill for me to swallow. And I have to have those conversations with myself and be like, Alvini, you are not the fucking exceptions to the rule, girl. Like, they're not going to just reconstruct their whole life for you. But that's the conversation I have with myself every failed relationship.
Why do you feel that you're the exception to the rule?
Because I feel like I'm always something to someone that they've never had. And I feel like I'm always either, I have the title of, oh, she was the prettiest girl you ever been with, or she was, oh, this, I like big girls, and this my first big girl, but she's so pretty. So it's like you forgot everything else, but it's just like, damn, like they've idolized me and they've kind of like fetishized me so much to the point that I don't think that they like people will see me or like a person or anything besides the fetishes. Like, so
So that was the reason why I asked you the question, why do you feel like you're the exception to the rule? So do you feel like potentially, or feel or think, either or, that they could potentially be conflating this, I can't ever say this word right, fetishization, or, this idolization with being the exception? Because there can be some conflation there. You dig what I'm saying? So let me give you an example. It's almost like, you know how there are a number of, Caucasian women who will go towards or will gravitate towards Black men who are geared to go to the league or like to the NFL or stuff like that because
mhm.
it represents financial security. The probability of that happening is slim to none. But when it does happen, this is what tends to come after that fact, right? It's not necessarily the exception, it's the idolization and the fetishization that comes with that exception, that type of exception. Does it make sense? So because you exist in this tail end of this deviation, then you are idolized and fetishized because you exist in this space of an exception. Does that make sense?
Okay. I mean, I get it. I really do get it. I don't know why I feel like I just feel like I should. Shit. I just feel like I should be the fucking trophy. Like it's me, bitch. Like it's just me. Like I don't know. I don't get it. It's not clicking to me why I can't be the exception to the rule. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
That's why I need people to talk to it about because it don't click.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna be very honest, right? The want to be the exception to the rule exists so that we can identify ourselves amongst the crowd, or so that other people can identify us amongst the crowd. We want to be exceptional. We want to be, in some way, shape, or form, identified as somebody who exists outside of the norm, which in a way is understandable. You don't want to be grouped in with other people. You don't want to be, how can I say, you don't want to be identified like everybody else. And the reality of the situation is sometimes in multiple categories, we have too many things alike or too many things overlap for us to be individuals or exceptional. So there are some things that you are exceptionally good at as an individual. You do have some exceptional traits as an individual. And in the grand scheme of things, sometimes we are not that great. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes we are just not that, how can I say, extravagant. Not to say that we are not extravagant in our own rights. I'm saying that overall, there are some times where we are not as extravagant as we think we are, right? And it's not even it's not about you being humble, or it's not about humility. It's really about comparison. It's about, I guess you could say, historical repetition. Like there have been people in history who have done this before. There have been people in history who have, exemplified these traits before. And I just so happen to be a person in history who exemplifies. So once again, it's still an exemplification. I am still exemplary at it. But these are the skills that I'm good at. So how that relates to you is I have these traits. I have these, factors that are exemplary. I am a beautiful young lady. I do have these mentalities or these abilities to converse where other people do not. Like I have these things, and I want to be appreciated and or identified for these things, while also like being, I guess you could say, not necessarily covered, but I want you to feel as if though I am your person, which is understandable. You feel me?
Okay.
So here's the thing. When we really get to talking about, these are the things that I like, or these are the things that I dislike, they're valid. they're very valid because it's like, yo, there are certain things that I like, there are certain things that I dislike. Some things are soft boundaries, other things are hard boundaries. Like I'm not finna fuck with you on this level, I can fuck with you on this level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Identifying these things in these ways gives us gives us the space to be a little bit more fluid or be a little bit more, you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Less rigid with what it is that we are looking for in partners. You dig what I'm saying? So a lot of the times when I'm talking to either my clients or other people, I'll say it's not necessarily what it is that you are looking for. It's the intensity with which you are looking for something to have, right? So for example, you got hot sauce, but you got different types of hot sauce, right? So you want some hot sauce, want some kick to it, but you don't want too much kick. You dig what I'm saying? Not only are you looking for the product, you're looking for the intensity that that product has within it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So are you trying to compare the hot sauce? Are you comparing the hot sauce to me? Or are we talking about my, like, what I date? Like, is it in reference to the niggas that I date? Because I also would like to make note that I have given other guys outside of the hood ass niggas, like I've given other men the opportunity. I just don't care for, like, I know it's gonna sound so biased, but I just really don't care for white guys like that, or like anybody outside of my race. I really do not care for it. I just don't. Like, I don't. And I just feel like I already have a Black son and I want to expose him to what Black love looks like and what a Black unit looks like and what a Black family looks like. And I want him to understand that love happens within our culture. And I just want him to be in love with himself as well. So I desire my partner to love me and uplift me. And I just want him to, you know, be a part of my little already halfway made family and help me build from there. But I have given other guys opportunities. The guys that I give opportunities to, they play me way harder than a hood nigga could ever. Like, I feel like maybe because I already know the game and I keep myself a little bit more cautious, that like maybe I have the caution tape on a little bit more when I'm dealing with them. And so it's just like, okay, I don't mind if you fall off, or I don't mind if you ghost me. I don't care if you like drop me, whatever. But like guys who I feel like you have earned me to like you, I I dislike when we disconnect because I feel like I've tried. And those are the like kind of like situationships that like break me a little bit further than even the hood nigga thing. And I feel like it was all based back upon the fetish of me being attractive. And it's not like, I don't know. I just feel like if a girl isn't as attractive, she has a lot better chances of finding somebody who truly loves her for her in comparison to finding somebody, because it's like it's so much to get past, because unfortunately humans are just, and men are just fucking physical creatures. They want to see stuff. They want to look at things, and it's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. So
Okay. I don't disagree with what it is that you're saying at all, right? And the reason why I say I don't disagree is because this is your experience. This is what it is that you've engaged in, right? So, in a way, I agree. There are a number of men who are quite physical in what it is that they are looking for in a partner. They're shallow in the way that it is that they engage in how it is that they are looking for a partner, which then once again contributes to that fetishization. I don't even know if I'm saying this word right, but we're gonna keep rocking. So I can understand that. And the best way that I can say it is that when we are looking at it from the perspective of so going back to the hot sauce analogy, right? And talking about the intensities, right? You were asking me whether or not I was comparing the hot sauce to you or what it is that you're looking for. And it's more so about the dynamic itself, right? What you are looking for to exist within the dynamic. So you were saying it's, you know, I feel more played from this population of niggas because you know, I have this culture take on this, and the third. So you're venturing outside of your norm or the regular hot sauce that you would grab. And then you're going into different types of, or you're venturing into different types of flavor profiles, right? So when we're talking about this idea of the intensity, you're in a sense searching for an intensity that fits your palate, right? You're looking for what it is that you want. That's the reason why I said intensity, right? And that's the reason why I specifically use hot sauce, because it's like, yeah, you want some hot sauce, but it's like hundreds of types of hot sauce that have different flavor profiles and do different things, right? So here's the reason why I said intensity specifically. So this whole idea that single mothers, you know, well, oh, because they have a child, this, that, and the third, they can't woo. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. And the reason being is because there are a multitude of examples of blended families that have worked, you know, in a amazing fashion. So it's difficult for me to subscribe to that idea simply because it continues to perpetuate the idea that because a woman is not a virgin, she somehow has less, like, motherfuckers really don't see it that way, but it's genuinely an extension of that. You feel what I'm saying? So for you,
And I would also like to add to that is that even like my college, okay, I guess you call him my college sweetheart. Even like my college sweetheart, like he tried to come back into my life, and he ultimately like set this whole thing up for us. He lives in a totally different state. He like asked me to fly. I was already going to fly up there no matter what. But he asked me to fly there. He wanted to spend the weekend with me. He totally ghosted me for the entire weekend. And what it ultimately came down to, when like I had to like, I feel like I had to keep, you know, like calling, doing all that crazy girl shit. And like what it ultimately came down to is that he didn't want me because I had a baby, and he felt like I betrayed him because of my child. And he really wholeheartedly wanted me to choose him over my child. And that's where it's like, nigga, you wasn't even my type. So why the fuck you think I'm gonna do that? Like, you're not even my cup of tea. And so I think I also become very fearful because it's like, damn, niggas have already told me straight up to my face that they don't want to fuck with me because I got a baby. So that's also in the mix as well.
which once again, right, it's a very real thing, you know, and that's the reason why I made it evident that it stems from that idea of, oh, because you're not a virgin, you have a lesser amount of value. Like it to be quite honest, it makes no sense, right? It has very little, I guess you could say, evidence, or it doesn't substantiate well when you really place it into the context of what is the ability for this person to maintain a relationship. It has very little bearings on that, right? So just really quick sidebar, I posted a video on TikTok about married single mothers, and the response was just, I'm not gonna say overwhelming, but it was significant because a lot of women were like, yeah, you know, I was a married single mother, I was a married single mother. And I heard the term from another guest that I had on the channel a couple of episodes ago. She's a doula, and she said, you know, there are some women who are married single mothers. And I was like, yo, like, that's deep. What do you mean? She's like, there are some women who have partners, and because those partners are just so emotionally disconnected, they don't contribute, right? So how this relates to the whole idea of somebody being a single mother is that a lot of people contextualize single mothers as being irresponsible because that's the way that it's contextualized. But very rarely is it contextualized in a way that, you know, the partner that I had this child with may not have been a fit partner even after the child was born, right? Something may have been triggered in that individual that may have made it difficult for them to continue past this point. Like, people try to make it seem very cut and dry, and it's really not, right? Which then removes the foundation that, single mothers are irresponsible or single. Like, nah, bro, you looking at it is you looking at it from this particular context and making this decision based upon what it is that you think transpired. Like, nah, fam, no, right? So once again, you wanting this outcome or you seeking this outcome is understandable, right? And understanding that there are some men who balk at this idea is, once again, that's the reality of the situation. And the reason why they balk is because of what it is that we just previously discussed. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, how can I say this?
Mm.
So I guess my next question would be, how do you recognize that something is either A, going well, or B, is beneficial for you in a relationship dynamic, or have you felt that way before?
Well, like I said, I'm from South Florida. So unfortunately, there's a lot of scammers down here. And unfortunately, I'm a part of the culture. So when it comes to well, I feel like a guy is like giving me like a lot, like I could kind of switch into like that, like I don't know, like that Florida bitch, like show me the money then, nigga. Like I could kind of switch into that, and I know I can do that, and I could give that off, and I could be very demanding when it comes to like run me my check, run me my coin, because it takes a lot of money to maintain me, and you want to be a part of me, like, and I try to find the equal benefits, but at the same time, I I don't know. I just be feeling like I'm real lost in the dating scene. Cause like I feel like I give off genuine energy and I try my best. But at the same token, I know when somebody is not giving me their all. When I feel like you've given me your all, especially guys, like because most of the time the relationships I do have and have had like longevity with, or that means something to me or any significance, those are usually guys who have chased me. And when that intensity of the chase goes down, I become cold and I will turn either as like benefit me and almost on my city girl shit and be like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Or I feel like I become like this desperate woman in a way. And what makes me feel desperate because I'm trying to understand where the fucking disconnect was. I'm such a heavy communicator, and I feel like if all we did was just talk about it, tell me where you are emotionally, tell me where you are mentally, then we could go on ahead and discuss if this is good or if we need to move forward. And I feel like that's where I always am. Like I the signs for me is when they start pulling back and showing me less intensity of what they showed me prior to. And it's just like it really rocks like my ego in a way because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, when did this happen? When did you do this? And it's always like, for me, I feel like it's a day and night thing. And it could have gradually happened, but I always feel like it's a day or night thing. And then what I always end up finding out is in the long run, and there was somebody else, and it feels like I'm always in this constant competition with other women who look just like me, who are just as beautiful as me. And it's like we're constantly being pushed for number one, number two, number one, number two, number one, number two. And then I finally get bumped out, and I just don't, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm here. Will, help me. Like,
I'm crying. Okay, so let's go back to this whole idea of the oscillating hierarchy, right? The number one, number two thing, right? This is gonna sound kind of fucked up, but I'm gonna say it anyway, right?
yeah.
The more that you demand what it is that you would like, at times, the more you will see people fall off instead of rising to meet your demands. What do I mean by that? There are a number of men who sincerely feel like because women are beneath them, they should have to do less work in order to maintain. When they run into a woman who asks them to do more to maintain than what it is that they feel comfortable maintaining, they fall off. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that there's inherently an issue with how it is that you engage? Not necessarily. Right? That's not what we're talking about. That's not how we contextualize the conversation. How we contextualize the conversation is this is what's going on, and I don't know necessarily, or I am trying to understand more about how or why this is going on the way that it is, right? So, with this idea of you saying, you know, it takes a lot to maintain me, I require a lot of maintenance. First and foremost, it don't matter how emotionally intelligent this nigga is. Emotional intelligence has nothing to do with a man's perception of what is too much or too little. I'm sorry. Emotional intelligence has a little bit to do with that, but not as much as their perception of what is valuable, right? What am I going
Mm-hmm.
to quote unquote pay for or invest in, right? I don't want you, or I don't want to say to shift your standards or do this or do that, right? No, I feel like everybody has the ability to, you know, adhere to whatever preferences that they have as individuals. But I also recognize within that same scope, if so, let's look at dating as an experiment, a scientific experiment. If you recognize that you continue to utilize these factors or you continue to utilize these elements and they're not yielding the outcome that you're looking for, over time, you're going to change the elements that you're using, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Kind of.
no, I'm not trying to hear it. Over time, you're going to change the elements that you're using. You
But
can.
then why am I shifting me? Why do I have
You're
to
not.
shift
See, that's the thing. That's the
me?
thing. You're personalizing it. You're not shifting you. You're not. You're shifting what it is that you are utilizing in order to communicate from you.
I don't get it.
All right. So let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Okay. So let's say you got a Honda Accord, right? Is it still
Okay.
a Honda Accord? It don't matter what you do to it. Is it still a Honda Accord?
Yeah, it's a Honda Accord.
Right. So if I take an engine, I take it out, I put a new engine in, I put a supercharger, all that good stuff on it. You feel what I'm saying? I put all these extra intakes, woo, spoilers, all that good shit, ground effects, cool. At the end of the day, when you run that PIN number, it's still a Honda Accord, right? You
Yeah.
are utilizing different, I guess you could say, adages or add-ons in order to extract a different outcome from this vehicle. The vehicle is what it is that you're adding or removing is based upon the adaptability of the vehicle that you are in. Ergo, you're not changing you. You're simply changing the things that you as an individual utilize as tools in order to get a particular outcome.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it makes sense, but I'm just saying.
Say, and that's cool. You feel me? But at the end
Like,
of the day, I'm gonna say
mm,
too.
yeah, but it's just like, dang. It's like I feel like I have done a lot of adjusting though, and I feel like I have like, straightened my tie out and ironed my suit and everything. And I feel like I've done so much. And
Right.
I feel like there is things that I have worked on that I noticed in my past relationships that I didn't care for in myself. And I noticed was a pattern. And I feel like I've adjusted those things and I still feel like I get the same outcomes. But I feel like if I just wasn't as attractive, I think that I would probably have different outcome because I think that I am a beautiful person on the inside. And I think that no matter what, it'll always come out on the out. So I just really wish that like my outside appearance didn't hinder people from seeing how beautiful I am on the inside. And I feel like it hurts my feelings, the fact that I can do all this work and still not get what I want. And it makes me like give up in a way. Cause it's like, then what the fuck are you doing this for? You know? So it just be difficult. It's just difficult being a bad bitch. Just so hard. So like, like it be making me upset, and it makes me sad for my son, because it's like, damn, all I want to do is give him the family he deserves. And it's like, no, I'm not going back to my baby daddy. No, I'm not doing none of that. I just want what everybody else wants, and I just feel like I don't understand how it could be so difficult for just me. And I don't feel like I ever have had a community to be able to be like, you know what, girl, that happened to me too, or da 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 da. No, because pretty bitches who look like me, they have boyfriends. Like, girls who look like me have boyfriends. Girls who look like me generally are with somebody, or they have options, or juggling, or doing whatever. I just be here doing nothing like this. So
I'm gonna ask you a question, because you said the girls who look like me usually have boyfriends. How am I gonna ask this question in a way that's gonna be understandable? Do they have boyfriends, or do they have social media accessories?
they might have that, because I don't know their personal lives. So they just might have that, but I want honesty and I want a genuine relationship, and that's what I would like.
Right. So is it that they have these things, or are you projecting what it is that you want onto images that you may see?
Okay, well, I know that I'm projecting. Shut up. I know it.
I'm just saying, right? Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that, we have an open and honest dialogue, because for real, there's nothing wrong with what it is that you want, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to provide this not only for yourself, but for your son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when looking at it from the perspective of, once again, these factors that we utilize in order to contextualize who it is that we're looking for in a partner, or what it is that we're looking for in a partnership, it begins to get sticky. You feel what I'm saying? Because like you, as a attractive young Black single mother, it has its how can I say? It has its elements that make it difficult the same way, or in similar ways that other demographics have difficulties in their dating realms as well. Not to compare the two, just to say that you as an individual have your own set of difficulties that contribute to, making this outcome somewhat of a challenge, which is understandable. And a lot of the times when we're looking at the way that it is that we identify partners, or the way that it is that we go through the dating scene, it's like we end up with somebody, or we end up with, a situation that we probably never thought that we would be in. And we question why we're in the situation, or we question why we are enamored by this person, when we end up recognizing that either this person is a blessing or a lesson. And if they're, if you're lucky, they're both. You dig what I'm saying? So this is the reason why I kind of harp on this idea of being able to reconstruct, retrofit, whatever you want to call it. Just basically learning how to reconstruct these concepts that you feel are crystal or crystalline. Because as you grow and as you see things and as you experience things, hopefully you begin to understand or internalize or reconstruct different things to, hopefully reach the outcome that you're looking for overall. Not to say that, or not to minimize what it is that you're experiencing right now, but to also look at it from the perspective of, there are ways to continue to grow even past this point of feeling that is difficult. Because I'm not gonna hold you. Yeah, the dating pool is not it's not the greatest. It's not.
Has pee in it.
Has pee in it.
It's pretty terrible.
But I mean, hey, I think that's ubiquitous, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of millennials are we real fucking cynical and we real fucking like sarcastic. Like we don't want nobody to feel nothing from us at all. Like if you feel something from us, you too close, and that's kind of terrifying, right? But there's
Yeah.
less piss in it because I feel like of the people who are in the pool at the time, and not necessarily the pool itself. It's like no, it's the motherfuckers who was in the pool contributing to this pissy ass shit. Cause yeah, like being vulnerable with somebody in and of itself is difficult, but being vulnerable with somebody who has the potential to utilize that vulnerability in such a way where it makes you not want to be vulnerable again. Yeah, I don't want to go through that too many times. Like,
Yeah.
No, defense mechanisms feel great right now. We're going to use these. And we're going to make you see whether or not you can understand how these defense mechanisms work. So I can actually see whether or not I should let you in this fortress that I call my emotions. It's all right, though. Good luck and Godspeed, nigga. Right? But that's kind of how it feels. It's like navigating a minefield that's full of emotional explosives. It's like, yo, why? Like the way, and it is very interesting that you utilize the term fairy tale, right? Because when I was younger, and this is gonna sound kind of mean, but when I was younger, like I would tell my partners, like, yo, this is not no Disney movie. Like, this is not how it's gonna go. Like, you out of pocket. Like, up to what?
What? That's what you would tell people?
Yes.
You told women that?
Yes.
And you were grown?
Not grown, but like
Were you above the age of above the age of 21?
Was I? For
You
like a
probably
couple
was.
years, yes.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah. And hold on, once again, because that's how it is that I learned. Like this is not, we're not gonna do this all happily. Like, yes, we can get to that point at some point in time. And this is not going to be happy-go-lucky, like birds chirping all of the time. Like, no, we have to remove ourselves from that conceptualization, because then it makes it difficult to process through periods of times that are difficult to process through. That's my opinion on the matter. And that's what I meant when I said that. And I recognize in growing to be 28 years old, it's like, nah, young boy, you got to find different ways to say that. Like, even if that's what you're feeling, and I'm not gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? This is one of those things that have stuck with me. And I recognize that now, as I've gotten older, there are other ways for you to express that emotion without being so intentionally destructive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It got hectic. Because I'm like, no, it's not a Disney movie. Like, I don't know what you think this is, but this ain't that. Yeah, nah, there's some other
But
ways.
you have to remember, that's how we grew up. We were little girls. And we had my size Barbies. We had wedding dresses to play in.
And that's so annoying, bro. It's so annoying.
It's annoying as it is. That is what society has pushed into us to make us believe that that's what happens, is that you have a fairy tale. And for me, I'm realistic about what it is in my fairy tale. I know that there's going to be like, there's work. It's a relationship. Right. Any relationship requires work. I'm understanding of that. I've never not been understanding of that when it comes to my experience. So that's why when intentions stop and they're not as direct, I feel hurt, because I'm like, so who else is it? Like, that's when I start questioning myself, and I wonder, what did I do to make you unattracted to me? And it could very much so well be that that's them, whatever, but it brings out my insecurities as well, because it's like, damn, now all those negative words I fed to myself, are they true? Like, you were helping me counteract them, and now are they true? Are those things like really true? And so it's like I go through those ups and downs with those, relationships, and it's just like it becomes difficult and it becomes really like, I don't know, hard. And then I become accusatory, and that's when I could be very aggressive, and I like begin to attack, and I'll say things that just are not of me.
Right.
But I feel like I was driven to that point because it's almost like insanity, because you don't know what the fuck you're going to walk into. And it's like, emotionally, I was so secure with you. And now here I am back in this seat where I don't know and I'm unsure, but you say you with me. So,
All right. So I'm gonna say a couple things. First thing is this.
oh Lord.
Hey, yo, chill on me, bro. I done got better. Relax. First things first. I get what you're saying when you say that you've driven me to this point. And if somebody is able to drive you to that point, that means that there are mechanics in place for them to drive you there. In other words, there are things that you still have not resolved, or there are things that you still have not identified that are there in your emotional dynamic that that person can manipulate in order to get you to a particularly emotional place. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I also would like to say, if I had the faith of a mustard seed in us, why? Why can't I still have that same faith in us?
I'm not saying that you can. I'm just saying that those emotional mechanics still exist. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that the faith and the mechanics can't coexist. I'm just saying that the mechanics themselves exist. Just stipulating that. Right? So that's the
All
first.
right.
Second
Okay.
thing, when we are talking about this idea of let's use your mustard seed. All right. We're talking about this idea of faith, and we're talking about this idea of belief, and we're talking about this idea of I recognize that this person or this dynamic has this capacity. It's okay to have faith. It's totally fine. Right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't. What I am saying is that recognizing when something is not conducive, or recognizing when an individual is engaging in the fetishization, god damn it, fetishization, whatever the fuck that we was talking about earlier. That is the one word, bro. I know so many words and I know how to pronounce so many things, but that one motherfucking word, bro, that one. But anyway, when you're recognizing these things and you're identifying that these are real dynamics in what's occurring, how do you deal with them, right? How do you navigate that space, right? Once again, going to the whole idea of this emotional minefield, a lot of times we engage or we maneuver in emotional spaces, especially as it relates to interpersonal relationships. We want to protect our feelings while at the same time not harming the feelings of somebody else. So a lot of times that drives us to not acutely express what it is that we want at the outset. Right. So what I mean by that is going into a relationship, or not even a relationship, just going in and talking to somebody like, yo, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. Not necessarily like not necessarily saying going in like, yo, if you're not a hood nigga, I'm not fucking with you. That's not what I'm saying. But the core essential aspects of an individual and how it is that they, could particularly relate to you, so that that resonance is deeply felt and harmonious. You feel me? So the core elements, like stripping down everything else, what are those core elements that I would look for that would resonate deeply with me and create that harmony, right? Because the underlying theme of all of this that we've been talking about, it sounds like you're looking for peace within an interpersonal relationship. Like peace, security, stability. That's what it
I
sounds
mean, yes, because I feel like, okay, so I want to say that I'm looking for peace,
like.
but I also am like, I don't know, maybe like that's also a little bit of like hope as well in there, that like things can just be okay and work out for me, as like just like things could just be okay for me and work out with just one person. Like it doesn't require so much. I feel like, as like I grew up as only child, so like I have siblings, but I didn't grow up in the home with them. So it's just like I'm my mom's only child. I grew up from a very young age to old as hell, and it's just me. And I've never had anybody else to I'd never have had to share. And so like having my son made me realize how much I want to share my life. Beforehand, pre-baby, pre everything, I never thought of myself or saw myself as a woman with a family, a woman who has a child, a husband, a this, a that. I just never saw that for me. I'm like, fuck these niggas get money. What's up? Like that was me. That was her story. And I took a very long break between me being with like someone to like totally disconnecting. Like within my pregnancy, I broke up with my baby daddy. I had a new relationship within my pregnancy and broke up with that guy. And I just really wanted to like work on me. So I took a really long break from dating and like being out there and making myself available. I took at least no, okay, let me not lie to myself. I took like 2 years. So I took 2 years to myself. I was gonna lie and say 3 to 4 years, but that's a lie. My son's 4. So I took 2 years to myself and really just like, fed me and like just trying to answer those questions of what was my end, not even my end game, but what would make me ultimately happy. And I think that is what I'm more or less looking for, is the hope that I've had, that faith of a mustard seed that I've had, that I can still have a family. Like I can have it. I can have those things. And the desire to have it is there. But I think that that's really what I'm like, not more or less that I want to find peace, because I don't believe that anybody can give you peace. I think that there's peace within me and I am my own peace. And I know how to have a good time with myself, but I am ready to share my life, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
It does. And please forgive me when I say finding peace interpersonally. I don't mean that the other person in this interpersonal engagement brings you peace. I mean that in your interpersonal relations, the interpersonal relations themselves are peaceful. But Miss Alvini, you brought up a whole other topic for a whole different time, but we're gonna have to close it out because you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We got other people that we gotta get in tune with. But all together, do you have any closing statements, anything that you just want to say, anything like that?
No. I really appreciate you for bringing me on and talking with me.
I appreciate you for being here. Most definitely, I definitely appreciate it. If you don't have anything else to say, good people, great people, guys, people, I appreciate y'all for tuning in once again to Odie's office, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.